Hello, welcome to The Remedy, a beautiful Saturday. I hope you enjoyed last weekend. If you did not, please go back. By the way, subscribe, share, invite friends. Yeah. If you're watching me right now, you're on AETV and you're on the right channel, so please welcome. Last Saturday, I was with Claire talking about money and relationships. I had very many questions in my inbox, this, that. It is because we're women. It is so today I came with a man. So stay tuned. Don't go away.
You're watching AET TV, empowering you.
Welcome back. If you're watching now, you're watching The Remedy, you're watching AET TV, and as I told you before, we are with Ramadan. We're talking about money in relationships. You guys needed to hear this from a man. Some ideas from a man, not only ladies. So Ramadan is a communications coach, a marketing advisor. Who can do this better, right? So Ramadan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so
much. Welcome to The Remedy.
Always a pleasure being part of AET.
Yeah,
yes.
It's family, it's home.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, welcome home.
Yeah, I've been following most of your programs from day one, and I must say it has made some commendable progress over time.
Thank you. You've even been here on this same show before.
Yes, I've been here.
Yeah. So thank you we're always ready to welcome you back. So now let's talk money and relationships. First of all, do you think there is any way, or is it even necessary to separate the two, money and relationships?
I think it's very hard to separate the two. Because once you get into a relationship, by virtue of it being a relationship, there are things that you are going to be able to run on a day-to-day basis that will make it actually become a relationship for that case, like to make it active in the sense of it. And at the end of the day, you'll notice that some of those activities, they will need some money to...
Most of them.
Yes, most of those activities. Probably if you're dating, you want to maybe have a day out and have some dinner together, or maybe you want to travel somewhere and have some good time, or maybe you plan to go and maybe attend a party for a friend somewhere. All those things require money. If maybe I have a car, you need to fuel the car. If it's something to put on, your lady wants to know whether, or you also want to know whether she has something that is suitable for the day. If it doesn't, then you want to also show that you're concerned, and maybe you can come in and show your superiority as a man to be able to provide in that regard. So it's very hard to really separate money from relationships.
So it is a very necessary aspect in a relationship, right?
Yeah, it is. For many people, they don't want to get into the conversation of it because when maybe ladies get to talk about money, they see them as maybe they will think you're a gold digger, or maybe you come off as maybe a slay queen. But the fact of the matter is money is necessary in any relationship, and there is a background or history that gets us to this point. One thing you notice is that for men, there are things that we look for in a woman, and for women, there's something they look out for in a man.
Yeah.
One of the key aspects that women look out for in a man is your ability to provide.
Yeah, true.
So that's something that gives them that psychological comfort and security that maybe if we get into a long-term relationship, you'll be able to provide to me, and maybe if we have children, you're able to take up the role of a man, and maybe you provide the shelter, you provide the maybe what to eat, and maybe the clothing. So there's no how you can separate the money. For the ladies, it is one signal that gives them some idea of what you're capable of and where you lie in terms of weighing you, and what you may not be able to afford if they are to maybe get into a long-term relationship with you.
Yeah. So do you believe that there are people who fall in love? Fall in love with someone who doesn't, maybe they don't have a job, they're not financially stable. Do you believe in people getting into a serious situation, a serious relationship, getting into a family, marrying without money? Before you get there, you believe you're going to work things out, you're going to get rich together?
What I can say for relationships, one of the things that really drive relationships, it's shared values and goals.
Okay.
In some aspect, you notice somebody may not have the money there that you would call that money that can maybe cater for the day-to-day things that you would want them to provide. but based on the shared values and what you see in them, the goals they have, the perspectives they have about the future, their aspirations, that could give you some idea of where they are headed to. But it gets so worse if you don't have the money, but you lack a sense of direction as a man, and then you don't also show that you're in charge of this relationship as a man. The woman may not come out to see you as somebody who is very serious, because all that points to the risks that may come with me now moving in with you for a long time. We have seen some situations where people say, we did not have the money, we were able to start off, and we got to a certain point where we are now and we are very happy. But those are exceptions, they are not the rule. But for many people, if we are to be very honest, somebody must be somewhere at least. They must have some kind of a base that you maybe rely on and say, yes, we don't have the money, we don't have all that we would want at this moment. But given where I see this person has a degree, they are trying to pursue their masters, they have no job yet, and I'm also completing school, maybe I've finished, I have like a small job where I'm working and I'm earning some little money, and we are still young. So the shared values and the goals that you all share, they may convince you and give you an idea of settling down with this person, because you feel you can be able to build each other and get to a certain point. But it also depends on maybe the timing and the age when it comes to this context. You don't think maybe a man who is maybe in their late 30s and maybe the girl is maybe mid 20s will maybe find this man so attractive to move in with them, because they feel it's an age where I expect you maybe to have done something for yourself. If you don't have anything, you're really a very big burden, and you're very big risk to me, compared to maybe if we are in our mid 20s or early 20s, we've just finished school and we are just starting out. When we are starting out, it's more of the hopes. I'm seeing something that is going to come up in maybe 5 or 10 years. But if you're in your late 30s or maybe early 40s and there's nothing that has worked out yet, it may not be easy for you to convince somebody to walk in with you without anything.
In that situation, don't you think it's okay? Do you think it is important for some people to wait? Because I believe that before you, like if you're in a relationship, before you get it serious and you want to maybe move in together and get married, you're going to involve other human beings. You're getting married to give birth. You're going to involve like a lot of people. When you have a wife, their family becomes yours. The mother, the siblings, like it is two families together, and then you're going to bring other people in, right? Isn't it? Do you think it is advisable for people who are just dating and they have not reached somewhere financially to hold on just a bit, or they can still do it?
I don't know. For some people, they may look at it in different ways, but for me, my thinking is you need to really give yourself some time up to when you maybe made out something, or maybe you have some financial base. May not be a lot, but maybe you are building out something that points to where you want to be, because once you get in there, it's no longer about you alone. It's now two people. If you are a man, you're supposed to now provide, whether the lady has a job or not. At the end of the day, if you're renting, you have to cater for the rent. If it's the food, you have to buy the food. You have to cater for the clothing and those other aspects that are involved in the day-to-day runnings of a home. Which is not the case if you're maybe staying alone. When you're staying alone, there are things that you maybe decide to do away with, and you're like, I think today I had lunch, I can go on and I will take tea and I will take tea, yes. But I don't think that will come out if you have a home where you have even kids. And then you say, you see, because we had very good breakfast, now we can just sleep on our stomachs without taking anything. It's not a choice. By virtue of you getting in there, you have it's like you put yourself in a loop or in a net where now you don't have to jump out, but accept the realities of now being able to provide. So if you don't have any base, it means you're going to be overwhelmed by the demands that require financing on a day-to-day basis. You need your maybe transport to get to work. You get to work, they tell you you need this. Maybe your 3-year-old kid was very okay yesterday, but you wake up in the morning, they are not fine. You need to take them to the hospital. So where do you stand financially? You don't want to turn out as somebody who is always calling people, you're begging all the time, see, give me this, I'll pay at the end of the month, do me this. Go reach logically for you and also your wife and maybe the kids that you're trying to take care of. And as a man, it might not be easy for you to ask a woman for help, right? Yes. Financially. Yes, because for some it's if I ask for help, maybe I'm turning out to be weaker.
Weak.
So, but at the end of the day, I think it all comes to having those honest conversations when you're starting out, and being able to open up.
When is it too early? Okay, when are you supposed to have that financial conversation before getting into a very serious relationship? When you have started dating. Serious relationship, I mean marriage, because when you're just in a relationship, you're paving way to see, are we going to be together for a lifetime? Can we manage to be together, right?
Yes.
Yes, so in that period, when do you think you should talk about that uncomfortable talk about finances as a couple?
I think when you look at the trajectory of the relationship from dating, and when you get to a point where you feel like it's now serious, this is somebody I can walk in with, those are some of the conversations that you need to really get into. Things to do with maybe your sources of income, how much you're earning, all those aspects. If you have any debts out there, those are some of the things that you need to really open up, because at the end of the day, once you decide to say we are now walking in together, it's like you now surrendered yourself, and every other aspect that was about you, it's no longer about you. It's about the two of you.
Yeah.
Yes. So the earlier you become honest about those aspects, the better, because when you keep it to yourself, at the end of the day, some issues may come up and it will hurt the relationship. So because some studies that have been actually coming up over the years, they indicate that apart from maybe infidelity, people cheating on each other, and being maybe incompatible, the other aspect that tends to cause divorce is financial infidelity. They call it financial infidelity, and this is to do with where people they keep secrets to do with maybe how much they are earning, things that they are purchasing. Somebody buys something, but they will tell you they did not spend their own money. People also not revealing the truth about the debts. So you wake up one morning and then somebody is on your door. They are saying we are going to sell off this house, or maybe we are doing this because your husband maybe took this loan. They did not want maybe to tell you this because
they thought they would have covered it.
You don't want to be seen as I don't have the money at the moment. So when people get to discover those, at the end of the day, they feel like it's betrayal, and that could hurt the relationship and lead to divorce.
So how do you start like such a conversation? You have a boyfriend, you want to know how his financial is, or you want to, both of you need to understand each other's financial discipline. Yeah,
you need to have, because you see, for all of us, we are from different social-economic backgrounds. How we perceive money is different from individual to individual. I could have grown up in a family where maybe we appreciate the fact that you have to be very particular about your spending, and maybe somebody else grew up in a home where maybe
they were luxurious.
Yes, they give you the money, you go and buy whatever you want to buy, maybe home stuff, but whatever change you have, you don't even give it to your parents. You keep it to yourself and you use the money for any other thing, and they never ask you. So for that kind of background, the values that you get to develop and the way how you perceive money turns out to be different from somebody who has maybe grown up in a home where they have to be very particular, where you have to take record about every expenditure, where you have to be accountable about every penny that they give you. You're going back to school, they give you this money for shopping, but you go do your shopping. When you come back home, you have to give accountability of every penny that you are able to spend. For some of the other homes, they will give you all the money, you go out there, you spend it, you have some money left, but no one is even going to ask you whether you have any money left. You get it?
Yeah.
So all those, there is a way how they shape our perspectives about money and finances, and all that also feeds into our financial literacy, how we get to appreciate saving, things to do with savings, expenditure, and the sort. It's all built up in that kind of setup. You'll find there are some people who think it's maybe okay for us to go out and eat out. You spend your money in maybe a restaurant and maybe it's very okay. For some people, they think it's not fine because maybe I have, as a way of saving, I rather buy something and maybe I cook. So if I'm having a partner who has that kind of perception about money, we always want to maybe go out dinner dates all the time. But for me, I'm looking at the other aspect of saving. At the end of the day, we'll have these values clashing. So it's very important as you get along into this relationship, there are things you're going to discover as you have conversations.
So how are you going to tell that person? How are you going to, because she wants to go out every time, and most of the times if she's going out, she's using your money. And you want to save. How are you going to sit her down, tell her, so that both of you can understand each other? You've already been with her, you've already understood that she has grown up like this. You want to live with her for a lifetime, but you both have different values about money. How are you going to sit and talk to come to an agreement? How easy can the conversation be?
Now, the conversation is all about, you need to be very honest about yourself. Yeah, this is someone who has grown up in this kind of background, but now they are getting into this kind of relationship with you. They are no longer in their home, but now you're starting out a new home. So there are things which are very key if you are to be able to support each other and you grow. So you're supposed to open up this person, and then you see how they view all that, and whether they think they need to maybe make changes in terms of how they spend, or maybe view money and all those aspects. And if you really feel from the honest bit of it, this is not somebody who is not maybe going to change, that could be a pointer to you that if you continue and walk in there, you might be headed for a lot of stress, because you'll have these demands that are coming up. Demands which are making it in a way that for me they are very okay. Because I grew up in a home where maybe this was cool stuff. Every weekend we go out. We have lunch somewhere.
The money is there.
The money is there. But for you, you are from this background where it's about find a way of saving every penny, see how you can maybe have some money for saving. So if you have those different backgrounds, and then you get into conversation with somebody and you don't see them buying into the narrative of saying, okay, let's reach a middle ground where we say now, we don't spend unless we've been able to make the money. We need to first get the sources of income, be able to save something, and then from that we can see, is this something that is very necessary for us to spend on? You can be able to plan those trips, those dinner dates, you can have them, but can you be able to plan them within your means, and then you stick to the schedule? Not something just coming up and you're like, I have to do it because I have to please you. But then you have to also be able to accept the fact that there is a certain discipline that you must be able to conform to if you are to actually grow. Because at the end of the day, even when the money is there, if you're not careful about how you spend and what you save, all those mechanics, at the end of the day, it will go away.
Yeah, that is very true. Thank you. I hope if you're out there, you're learning one or two. We're going to go in a very short break, and
You're watching Ayit TV, empowering you.
welcome back, and thank you for always tuning in. Thank you so much for watching The Remedy. Thank you so much for watching Ayit TV. Better programs coming in for you. And we're still talking about relationships and money with Ramadan. So Ramadan, thank you so much for the first session, by the way. And now I'm asking you, do you think, you as a man, you're married, by the way, I'm seeing a ring? Yeah. Do you think it is okay for a woman to earn more than you? As a man, do you feel is it okay? Does it make you feel in any type of way?
I think the whole idea of whether a woman earns more than you, it's not something that you can avoid, because for example, I may get to marry you when you may be into an entry job, where you may be earning maybe 1 million, I'm earning my 2 million. So maybe I support you over time, and maybe you're able to pursue your further studies and you get your master's degree, and maybe out of different exposure opportunities, you now land this job where you're maybe earning 3
you're
million
even
or 4 million.
promoted.
Yes, or maybe you're promoted, and this now comes with greater opportunities in terms of finances, what you're earning. So in the whole sense of it, it doesn't mean that now I will say, leave my house because you're earning more than me. No. At the end of the day, in any sense, you should be able to actually celebrate that, because at the end of the day, if you're two people, you're married, you're supposed to look at it in a collaborative way. If this person is earning this money, the 4 or 3 million, and maybe I'm earning the 2 million, if we have certain ambitions or maybe running some side projects that can bring us an income, what's the impact of this person earning more money, and then I also have something? If you're maybe contributing towards something, won't it be much easier compared to when maybe she's struggling and I'm also struggling? Because if you have some idea that you want maybe contribute to and raise money within maybe 2 years, it could be maybe within a shorter period. because she's earning some more money. So, but for most men, because by nature want to be very superior in every sense, it may not come out as something that is very okay, especially if maybe anything comes up in the relationship in terms of maybe some disagreement or maybe anything came up. You may tend to now target on maybe the fact that you're earning more, that's why you're no longer
doing this.
And it may not be the case, but because psychologically you feel she earns more than you, anything that comes up, you think it's maybe it's because she feels she earns more, and therefore you're not supposed to guide her on this.
So you're financially insecure.
Yes, you get that insecure, but the insecurity may not be necessarily to do with somebody earning more. The insecurities could be because of other factors within you, which are informed by your background, and that we may not know.
Because maybe you have grown up and your father has been providing from far away. You've never seen your mother provide at some extent, and your wife is doing most of the things at home, and it is making you uncomfortable.
Because I've seen people who are into. I've seen ladies who are into very senior corporate jobs where they are earning more than their husbands. And you notice at the end of the day, even when the other person is earning more, it's more of known within the work setting. But when somebody gets back home, they know that I'm a wife, I have a role to play, and this is my husband. So at the end of the day, earning more doesn't take away the fact that somebody is your wife and they'll be able to play that the wife roles. So it's all about how you perceive it, you as a person, and how you interpret it. But for me, I see it as something that somebody should be able to embrace, and maybe now this sets a challenge and inspires you to maybe see if it's very possible with her. What about me? What else can I be able to explore so that at the end of the day we are able to earn more money, more,
and
as much as we can.
also how you both understand each other, how you both communicate easily to each other.
Yes, it all comes to those details, because we've seen people who are ladies are earning more, but they are into very happy marriages, and they've been able to do a number of things by virtue of the fact that the man is very supportive on the other side.
That is very important. So there is this tricky thing that, well, I'm not yet married, but me and my friends have talked before, and you wonder sometimes, is it necessary to sign a prenup before marriage? You know what a prenup is? It is it's like an agreement you sign so that the property you have gone with in your marriage is the same property you're going to live. Okay, every property you're literally saving your property, so that when you divorce, if God forbid something happens in your marriage, when you divorce, each one's property is protected. Everyone has their own property. Do you think it is necessary or important at all to sign a prenup, to have a prenup before marriage? Like, when you're getting into marriage, you all sign a prenup. My property is my property, something like that.
Me as a person, it may not be a very good idea, because if you have this kind of agreement from the word go, that brings in the idea that if anything happens, this is my property, this is your property, it, in some way, whether you like it or not, it's most likely going to create some kind of conflict along the way, and even some kind of insecurity in terms of how you pursue the different aspects of this relationship. Because even when I want to maybe put in some kind of effort towards something that I feel is for both of us, the other person may not be that supportive, because maybe they feel I'm the one who is playing the lead role in that. So if anything happens tomorrow, they'll be able to walk away with everything. I may not be able to benefit much. So I think it may not be a good idea. The best idea would be walk in there and be optimistic that you're walking in to make this work. And every other thing that you are really building is for the betterment of both of you, and maybe if children come into the picture, it's for both of you. So this in some way also creates, it even prevents people from giving in their best to the relationship because they know at the end of the day I have something that will give me a starting point if things go wrong.
Yeah.
So you're always out there and you're like, whatever happens, Castanyinechi. After all, I have something. I will not be able to lose to nil, and I don't think that would be a good idea of looking at it. But maybe for some societies, based on what's happening and backgrounds and maybe other things that there is always a background towards something. There is a reason why people feel maybe let me take up this. There could be some societies or communities where I find maybe the divorce levels are maybe 70% or maybe 60%, and the likelihood of things not turning out well is very high because the other people that would set a good example for you, they are all divorced. So no one is setting a good example for you to make things work.
Yeah, so you're scared.
You're scared. You're walking there, you're very insecure, and you're like, I need to have something like maybe a shock absorber if anything goes wrong in this relationship.
Yeah, that's true. So you don't believe in financial independence in marriage? Like, I need my own money, my money's... Okay. Do you think when you marry, it becomes our money, not my money? Like, do you need to know your wife's check? Does she have to know how much you earn? Do you both need to know how much is coming in someone's pocket? Do you need joint accounts? Do you... Yeah,
I think it's very important. The moment you really get into marriage, it's no longer about you as an individual. It's about now you, two of you. So aspects that are very sensitive like money, how much are you earning and the sort. It's very important that you really open up on those realities.
Okay.
Because if you don't open up, I may have certain expectations about you that are maybe informed by certain views which are not real because you did not open up. So, and also the other thing why it's also important, it also helps you avoid the risks that may turn out in future. To do with maybe I took some debts, I took a loan somewhere, maybe from friends or maybe a certain individual, but you're not aware because maybe we keep all our financial secrets to ourselves. And then the next morning they tell you, you see, you know what? This is going to be sold off, or maybe they are taking this, and you're like, I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
But they tell you this happened, and this is your husband, and all this, we have an agreement. So it may turn out to really hurt you so much. So I think you need to be very open. But the whole idea, it is all about an understanding. If you maybe have a joint account, what is the motivation behind a joint account? Are you having a joint account maybe because you have an aspiration of maybe running a project tomorrow that can earn you more money? Or maybe you're looking at the risks that may come out tomorrow that you've not maybe prepared for, and that money can come in to cushion those risks. And then the other money that remains, I think, if somebody is taking care of their obligations that they are supposed to really handle, they now have the freedom on how they spend that money. I don't think I will come in and say, you see, because you earn this, I don't expect you to make
this much.
Yes,
where is the remaining money?
Yes, and every time I'm asking, you see, you are paid 1.5 million, so I want you to give me a breakdown.
But you know there are some people who do that,
yes,
right?
There are some people who do that. I want you to show me a breakdown or how you are able to spend all this money. I think that may not create really some kind of comfort for some people because they feel like you're becoming really so, I don't know how I can term it, but in the other way of framing it, some people may feel like you're becoming too much. Even when we are in, some people, there is some space that you need when it comes to your finances. If we have this account and we agree every month we contribute 200,000 towards this joint account, and everyone has been able to cater for their obligations, I'm playing my role as a man in a home, and then you're also playing your role. I think if you decide maybe to say you're going to work on your hair, maybe you're going to work on your nails, or maybe you feel you want to buy a new dress, I don't think I'm going to be able to now say I'm going to dictate that you must be able to buy this because you should remain with some money.
Something.
So I think because at the end of the day, our preferences, tastes and preferences and the needs that we may have, even when we are married, they are not similar. That's something you need to accept and appreciate, and in some way give somebody that independence. It's like maybe somebody is always they normally go out, maybe they work on their hair every maybe fortnight or maybe every month, and maybe where they go they spend maybe a 50,000 or maybe 100,000, but every time maybe they ask you for that money, you realize you're not going to give that exact 100,000 or maybe a 50,000. You give some extra money because in any way the whole idea or interpretation of it is that there could be something else that this person is not comfortable opening up or maybe
asking.
telling me, which they need. So if you put in that extra, it can maybe enable them maybe cater for certain things. So that's how I view it. It's all about you being able to understand each other and knowing where the limits are, even when you're in a relationship together, because you don't want to come out as somebody who is so nagging in certain aspects.
About money. Yeah, that is good. So I'm going to create someone like a scenario. Imagine you're a man. You're married. You've been married for like 5 years. You've been providing. You've been okay. Both of you have been okay, and then suddenly you lost your job. Right? I don't know if you've been saving or not, but you lost your job. You're not financially stable. Your wife is okay. You're now home. You're struggling to look for a job. What are men's reactions in such a period?
For many, I've even been able to read some stories. For many, they get depressed, and in extreme circumstances, they can even commit suicide, because once somebody knows that they are no longer in control of the ability to provide and maybe take care of the home needs like they've been able to do or over the past maybe years and months, it may make them feel like they are no longer man enough. Even when maybe your wife is very supportive and they accept and they really they feel what you're going through.
And we also need to know how supportive can a woman be to such a man in that situation, in that position.
Being supportive is first of all, when somebody loses a job, there's a lot that they go through psychologically. So the first thing is to be able to really appreciate the situation that they are in, and the best way to do that is for you to put yourself in their shoes. And you just imagine, if I was the one, maybe tomorrow or maybe the other day, how would I want them to treat me? How would I want them to react to this? So that you don't now turn out to be very judgmental and you don't accept this. And then once you now accept what they are going through, you help them through a process of being able to get to now back to their feet. They've lost a job. So what do you think is plan B? Because the man is not going to keep home. Where else do you think we can be able to try out for opportunities? If it's not an opportunity, if this is somebody who has always had maybe an idea or passion to do maybe a business, or they want to run something aside, do you think you can be able to now come in and see how you can start up something together? So it's
then this is a man. You see, there is one problem we always have as women. We want to treat men the way we treat our fellow women, which is wrong. Like if a fellow woman lost a job like that, I know what I would do, I know what I would say. And if you did those things to a man, sometimes it comes out wrong, like you're pestering them. How's your day? Have you tried applying here and there? I feel like sometimes a man wants to handle their things in a certain way, in a quiet way. You can just be around. I don't know. You can tell me.
It all comes to what personality we are looking at in terms of the man. There are those maybe who may feel like you may be becoming so pushy, you're so impatient with them, and you maybe think if they lost a job within a week or two, they should be
getting another.
Yes. The whole idea is you also want to see this person maybe putting in the effort. They've lost a job, but you want to see them being part of the solution. How can we maybe come up with a solution that can address what you're going through? Not the man taking a back seat, and then you, the woman, you are the one to show up every time, and you want to suggest solutions and maybe come up with ideas on what can be done next. You want to also see somebody who is also active, participative in every engagement that you're having towards coming to a solution. Then the other thing is the entire attitude that this person brings on the table at the end of the day will determine how far you can go also when it comes to supporting them. And also it comes to the other aspect is about even when you're having this job, what was your kind of conduct, you as a man? Maybe at some point this woman had no job, and maybe she was asking you how she can go about the possibility of getting a job, and you are not supportive, and she found her way out. and maybe she got a job, and
now it's your turn.
So it may come to a point where you treated me this. I may not exactly treat you that way, but I may take maybe a back seat, and I make you also feel the pain because you've taken me through something before. So at the end of the day, it is having that humility to accept the fact that you're having this job, but anything can happen tomorrow. So how you treat people around you and how you prioritize them will determine how they will also prioritize you tomorrow. Because once they feel you are always there for them, they will be able to reciprocate the energy when something happens to you. Just like our usual friendships that we have with our colleagues. You notice that people that you are always there for, or maybe people who are always there for you, if anything happens to them, in some way you are pushed to help reciprocate because you feel like you need to pay back what they have been able to do over time.
Now that makes me wonder. There are some men who tell women not to work when they get married. They want you to be there. I'm here to provide. You should stay home and take care of the kids, take care of the house, take care of the family. What do you say about stay-home moms that have not chosen to be there? Like, that means there is only one only one person who's bringing the income at home.
I think back in the day, the woman's role was more to do with taking care of the kids
and the
husband when they come back home, and the men were more of going out there and you look for something and then you provide. But the way how society has evolved over time, it's not something that I would really support, because you even notice back in the day, even when it came to education and the sort, it was more of more men getting that advantage over the women. Even when the girls go to school, it was more of you don't get to completion. At some point you get married. So that in some way exposed men to opportunities that women were unable to get exposed to in terms of earning and even jobs. So by virtue of that, they were at the end of the day at an advantage over women. Women were in a state where they had no option but to be in there, because even if you wanted to compete in the job market, you had no credentials that could actually allow you to compete with the men. But with empowerment and all other programs that we've seen over the years, women have been able to acquire education, they complete schools, and they are able to go for interviews and they get jobs. So if somebody is really educated, or even if they are not educated and you feel there's something you can do for them and they make an income, for me, I think in terms of a family, it is better for you. In terms of financial security, you are more firm compared to when you're just one person, you're the man who is earning, and the entire family is relying on you. God forbid anything can happen. You might be involved in an accident and you're incapacitated. You can no longer maybe go about your work like you used to, and the only thing you have to do maybe is to now be home all the time. And maybe so that you see now how you put your entire family's future at stake. Just by virtue of the fact that for you did not want your wife to work and bring in something extra that you can build on and you become better.
And definitely, if she's not working, that means both of you are not even sharing any financial advice. From who? Like she's seated home, so you don't. She doesn't have that liberty to know how things work out there. So it might not be helpful to the family. But what makes some men think like that? That this woman is supposed to stay home and maybe just take care of the house and me.
For some, there are traditional perceptions or narratives that have been constructed over the years, and for some, those that have been able to talk to, they will tell you that when a woman is working and they are making their own money, they disrespect you. It's very hard for you to come off and maybe preside over as a man in a home. But for some, it might be true, but I don't think that's entirely the truth or the reason behind it. For some, they are insecure. They feel maybe if somebody starts working at some point, you're going to earn more than me, and then I don't want to. How will it turn out, or how will I even be able to work in this society where my wife is earning more money? You can afford a better car than what I can afford. So for some, it's all about those insecurities. And when you have the societal narratives that have been constructed over the years, they all come in to cement the idea that the woman must be home, and then for you provide. They don't need to go out there. They will end up in other relationships with men. They will open their eyes up to a number of things about the world and they challenge you. There are many things that people actually share, but at the end of the day, when you look at it the other way around, you notice that when you embrace the fact that this person needs to go out there and they explore the opportunities, being able to invest heavily in their education over time. If only maybe somebody was working in a bank or maybe elsewhere, and then all of a sudden you think, because I'm superior, now you have to stay home, I'll be the one to provide everything. Good as it may sound to you, because you want to please your ego. At the end of the day, it's in the long term sense of things, it's a very big risk, because if this person is able to work, if maybe something happens tomorrow and I lose my job, now we have some kind of shock absorber, because somebody else is able to cater for those things maybe in the short term, before maybe I get some other job.
Yeah, that is very true. Okay, it is really interesting, the talk we're having today. By the way, Henry is in the background. Yeah, today I've not yet called you. I really don't need you so much. Yeah, Henry's here with us. You guys are going in a very short break again, and we shall be back in a heartbeat.
You're watching a Youth TV, empowering you.
Welcome back. Let's get into it. We're still talking about money and relationships. So, about last Saturday, some people from a Youth Bible family, I hope you guys are watching, attacked me and said women do not provide any other thing in a relationship. They don't provide money. There is no way money and women are compatible, because they just love money from men. So they only offer. Henry just agreed with that. So they only offer sex, and men are there to provide money. What do you say about that? Which I don't agree with, by the way.
For me, the reasons why people get into relationships, they vary from individual to individual. For some, it's I feel like I need some sense of belonging, and maybe it drives me into dating.
You're lonely.
Yes, you feel like you want somebody that you can spend some quality time with, maybe every after work or maybe over the weekends, and their presence in your life in some way creates some sense of purpose and meaning that you may not find when you're just alone. You're in that single room, and it's just watching TV and the movies and the sort. So this person coming into the picture, they bring in a different sense of how being able to see things over time. So that could be one thing. If you pursued this relationship basically looking for sex, it may blind you from other aspects of things that this person is capable of, or maybe can offer, because for you were only looking at the sex. You wanted to satisfy that, and every time you reach out to them, it is something that you solely look out for. So it may not give you the whole idea of seeing beyond the sex and getting to understand the potential that this person has in maybe you being with them in bed. So for some, it may come to the conclusion that maybe the person only offers sex, because maybe every time you reach out to them,
what you have come to
and
look
you
for.
want them to offer you the sex there, or they offer it, and for you, by that, you think it's the only thing that they offer,
because you're satisfied with what you had.
You are not looking for anything more. But maybe if you are looking for you wanted somebody to share a long-term vision, career aspirations.
That is the real definition.
Somebody
of a
can be able to now paint a different picture, and you appreciate how they see the world, and then you're like, hey, this person is brilliant by virtue of the views that they are able to bring into the picture. So I think the most important thing is, before you get into this relationship, it's also important to understand what's the, like I normally tell people, for some trainings that I run and maybe for businesses that I support, I always ask people to start with the end in mind. If you are going to do anything, it's very important to start with the end in mind, because once you have the end in mind, it gives you the idea of what you need to do to be able to get there. So it's very important also for relationships to appreciate what is the reason for which you're walking into these relationships. For some people, have been in a relationship and maybe it went bad, and maybe we are no longer together, and out of that anger you really want to show the other person that you've been able to move on so quickly, so you want to get somebody and
who will suffer who will get the consequences.
Yes,
for
the
something
consequences,
she didn't
because
bring.
some guy was texting me 3 months or maybe a year ago and he had interest, so now this is the time to reach out to them and I see if they have an interest, and then all of a sudden I want to prove to the other person that if you thought I wasn't really that classy or no one else had interest in me, I've been able to move on, and at the end of the day you end up hurting yourself, because you've not allowed yourself time to maybe heal and maybe think what could be the reason why things did not work, so that you don't have a repeat of the same mistakes in this new relationship that you're going to work in. So there are a number of reasons, or there are a number of narratives or backgrounds that inform the fact that people think women only offer sex and then the men offer the money. I think women, they offer more than that if you have an interest in actually looking out for them more. Yes.
So you have to know what you're looking for in a relationship for you to get what you're actually looking for.
For example, because I'll give you like an instance, at the end of the day, if you're to get married with somebody, you're getting married to them for a long time. You're
for a
going to
lifetime.
Yes, for a lifetime. Now, you notice at the end of the day, you're not going to be having sex every day. Yes, but at the end of the day, there are other attributes or aspects about them that make you get back home after a very busy day, and you feel like, yes, you have that comfort of being back home. That will be, so if you only look out for the sex, it will reach a point where the sex is no longer that valid in every instance, and you may not find meaning in that relationship. It will turn out like it's really not making any sense, when actually the sense is there. But because for you are only inclined on one thing, it blocked your mind from seeing other possibilities that are key to enrich this relationship.
I think for someone to say something like that, probably they are not yet ready for something serious. They're probably still out here trying to figure out, where do I belong? Am I ready for this? So until you're ready to see something more than that, you definitely can't see it.
Very true.
That is true. So thank you so much. It has been so fruitful. I'm very sure, this has been one of the best shows. So thank you so much for coming. I hope to get you some other time as well about such important topics. Any last word for the viewers?
What I can say is, first of all, I want to thank AETV. You've been able to create a very powerful platform that is educative, that sensitizes. Every time my data is on, I get notifications, your YouTube notifications, Facebook notifications, and whenever I'm not busy, I really get there. And when I'm busy, I get some time in the evenings and I watch your show. So you're doing an amazing job. And for anyone who's been watching this show, I want to be very honest with you that before you think about getting into that relationship for long term, you need to really work on yourself first. And there's no way how you can work on yourself without having the aspect of money in the picture. As you're working on yourself, also think of how you're building yourself in terms of the finances, because they are going to be a very key aspect of building and sustaining that relationship. However uncomfortable it may seem, it's very key. You need it, just like an ingredient that you must have to be able to prepare that meal. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I really don't have a lot to say after that. Thank you for watching. See you again next Saturday. Bye.